This is WENY News.
Thanks for clicking on the webcast. I'm Cody Carlson. Here's the latest from WENY News and the Star-Gazette. The former Cornell University student tried for the murder of his father back in 2015 is expected back in court today. Charles Tan is set to appear in appellate court today in Rochester. ABC affiliate WHAM reports the Monroe County District Attorney's Office is appealing a judge's decision last year to throw out second-degree murder charges against Charles Tan. Now, Tan is accused of shooting and killing his father in their Rochester area home in February of 2015. A murder trial ended in a mistrial due to a hung jury, and during a later hearing to determine the date for a second trial, the judge dismissed the case. Public defenders across New York State are calling on the governor for more funding in their budget. In his proposed budget, Cuomo is giving $240 million to fund public defense, but they say that's not enough. Defenders say it will cost around $400 million to make sure they can give a quality defense. In 2015, a settlement involving 5 counties required the state to increase funding in order to keep improving the public defense system.
My job is not to represent the world. My job is to represent the United States of America.
A call for unity and strength. That was President Trump's message to a joint session of Congress and the American people. He used the address to share his vision for our nation's future. He started the speech condemning the recent threats against Jewish community centers and condemning hate overall. He then outlined his major policies, from immigration, like building the wall and recognizing victims of immigrant crime, to increasing defense spending while cutting spending for diplomacy and foreign aid. And of course, health care, speaking of his goal to repeal and replace Obamacare.
Reforms that expand choice, increase access, lower costs, and at the same time provide better health care.
The president says a replacement health care plan must include insuring Americans with pre-existing conditions and giving U.S. governors flexibility on Medicaid, among other points. The president also spoke of the nation's infrastructure, saying we need to act by 2 core principles: buy American and hire American.
To launch our national rebuilding, I will be asking Congress to approve legislation that produces a $1 trillion investment in infrastructure of the United States, financed through both public and private capital, creating millions of new jobs.
The president says he's dreaming of big, bold, and daring things for our country, but says we can only get there together, asking Democrats and Republicans to unite. And here are responses from our state senators and local representatives, starting with Senator Kirsten Gillibrand. Senator Gillibrand said she felt many of the top priorities President Trump outlined are out of touch with the values in New York. She said, quote, "We heard more of the same talk about lowering taxes for rich corporations, building an expensive border wall, and gutting the Affordable Care Act that millions of Americans now rely on. These policies will not raise wages or create good-paying jobs for workers in New York," end quote. And Congressman Tom Reed said, quote, "Our president gave a sincere speech outlining a bold plan to move our country forward by empowering the American people. We share a common belief that we must strengthen our economy, borders, military, and healthcare system. I look forward to continuing to work with the president to reignite our economy and the great American spirit," end quote. And now here's Craig Flint with a look at your forecast. Hey, Craig, what's going on?
All righty, Cody, thanks a lot. Busy day in the Weather Center. We have some wind advisories to discuss, also the potential for some strong to severe storms, and a few rounds of storms that will come through. One will be this morning. I'm not overly concerned with severe this morning, but once we get into the afternoon, we'll have to watch for the potential for some of these storms to produce wind gusts, because at cloud level the winds are ripping already, and you know it's going to turn unstable this afternoon, especially if we get some sun. And there's a powerful cold front that comes through. It's going to be a record breaker today, a high of 72 before the front comes through, and it's arguably humid for the first day of March. At least the air mass is arguably humid, so that's kind of fuel for showers and storms. Also of note will be a strong wind that will potentially mix down to the surface As we head into the evening, through the overnight, and into the first part of Thursday, there's a wind advisory in effect. So notice the winds tonight, 20 to 30 miles per hour sustained, gusts to 40, maybe even 50 miles an hour, as that powerful cold front comes through with a line of gusty showers and storms. Then it turns sharply colder. Temperatures drop to near 30. Lingering rain changes to snow. Here's your forecast over the northern tier. There's going to be a little batch of rain that comes through first thing this morning with some lightning and thunder. Not severe. Then we'll try to give you some intervals of sunshine, and then as we head into the mid to late afternoon, especially over northern Pennsylvania, there's a risk for some gusty storms. Even here locally, a high of 65 to 70. A few showers and storms around this morning. Then we'll get a little bit of a break, and then another round will come through by the finish of the day. It's that second round that I'm concerned about strong wind gusts associated with thunderstorms. And it's going to turn windy even outside of any gusty thunderstorms, with just general synoptic winds picking up. Temperatures today over the Finger Lakes will be 65 to 70 with some gusty storms possible as we head into the afternoon. Notice how things are evolving here. So we've got one little area of rain moving through Pennsylvania right now. And there was actually, when we were on air this morning on Good Morning Twin Tiers, actually a pretty good squall line moving through sections of Ohio. You can see the last part of that line right there is kind of still holding its own, but the rest of it's kind of diminishing here. So this is the batch that will clip through northern Pennsylvania and also here locally with some rain. Then the front comes through later today. As the front pushes through, there's a lot of wind shear today. So what wind shear is, as you go up with height, winds are going in different directions. As you go up with height, when you have wind shear present, helicity, that sometimes causes these thunderstorms to rotate. And this is the same system that produced tornadoes last night in Iowa and Illinois. Look, I can't completely rule out a brief spin up right along the front. It's not a definite, it's not a slam dunk. I think what you're going to notice is just some generalized gusty wind as these storms come through. 72 today, sharply colder by tonight. Strong wind tonight into early Thursday. Gusts 40, 45, maybe even 50. There'll be some scattered snow showers around Thursday, then a mix of clouds and sun. Colder, 38, and it will stay cold Friday and into the first half of the weekend.
All right, thanks, Craig, and for continuing coverage of today's weather. Stick with us online and on air. Well, for the latest news, weather, and sports, of course, be sure to watch WENY News at noon, 5:30, 6, and 11. And don't forget to pick up a copy of today's Star Gazette. I'm Cody Carlson. Have a great day.